This is pharmaphorum web editor Nicole Raleigh, and I am on site in Berlin for ESMO 2025. And with me today, I have Henar Hevia, who is Senior Director and EMEA Therapeutic Area Lead in Oncology at Johnson Johnson, together with Carolyn Sousa, Regional Commercial Strategy Lead EMEA in Solid Tumour Oncology. Welcome both.
Thank you.
So our conversation is taking place ahead of J&J's virtual Solid Tumour Oncology media event titled Redefining What's Possible in Solid Tumour Oncology, Advancing Targeted Innovation. And this year, indeed, Johnson Johnson is presenting breaking clinical data, including around, and apologies for pronunciation, pasritamig, an investigational first-in-class bispecific T-cell redirecting antibody, and also prostate cancer. So firstly, I was wondering if you both could set out the landscape of unmet needs in metastatic castration-resistant prostate cancer.
Sure. So metastatic castration-resistant prostate cancer is one of the most advanced forms of the disease. And unfortunately, the prognosis for these patients is rather dire, with most of them surviving only for 13 to 31 months. So it's very important to us to look and develop new treatment options for these patients.
So about pasritamig, right?
Yes.
Pasritamig, as you were sharing, is bispecific T-cell engager pursuing KLK2 is the first one that is targeting KLK2 in cancer cells. This is KLK2 is a protein that is highly and specifically expressed in prostate cancer cells, which is very promising when it comes to explore new treatment options. And how is it working is very interesting, right? Because as a bispecific, it has two arms. One arm is studied, is planned to bind CD3 on the T cell, on the patient's T cell, right? And the other arm is going to bind KLK2 on the tumor cell, right? So the beauty on this process is that you are able, through pasritamig, to really link the T cell from the patient to the tumor site, like activating the immune, the anti-tumor immune response, which is what we are looking for, right? We have seen early this year at ASCO the first data coming from the efficacy and safety results for pasritamig, showing a promising efficacy activity and a very well tolerated safety profile as well. It means for patients that we are talking here about a new approach, an innovative approach, because now at ESMO what we are going to present is that the confirmation of this innovative mechanism of action and the possibility, the importance of going for a phase 2 trial in order to explore those scheduling, right? So yeah, it's very promising for new patients. It's true that historically the T-cell engagers are associated with higher grades of toxicities, but it's not been the case for pasritamig, which is super interesting. And at the same time, these results are giving hope for the role of immuno-oncology in the prostate cancer space, which is super promising as well.
Very promising. And how will physicians receive this news? I don't know who wants to take that. Carolyn, perhaps.
I think we can both talk to that. So when the initial results showing the efficacy of pasritamig last year were announced at ASCO, I can say there's a lot of excitement, particularly because of the specificity of targeting KLK2 and really being innovative in a new mechanism of action, but also because of what we've seen so far in terms of the safety profile. I know you've had conversations.
Absolutely. It's because it's the first time we are seeing a T-cell engager in the prostate cancer space that is that has a promising safety profile as well. We are the only company pursuing KLK2, and KLK2 we can say that is a clean target, right? Which means a lot when it comes to advance and provide treatments that are efficacious, but at the same time has a very well balance between efficacy and safety.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that data. So I was wondering if you'd also like to discuss the patient-reported outcomes from the Amplitude study investigating niraparib and, again, pronunciation apologies in advance, abiraterone acetate plus prednisone, or AAP, in HRR-altered metastatic hormone-sensitive prostate cancer.
Yeah, so maybe just to ground us, hormone-sensitive prostate cancer is an earlier form of the disease where the tumor has metastasized but is still sensitive to hormone therapy. So you're obviously always better to treat cancer earlier. And in this case, with niraparib and abiraterone acetate, we are looking at a population that has what's called a mutation in what's called the homologous recombination repair gene, or HRR. About 25% of prostate cancer patients have mutations in this gene. And unfortunately for those patients, it means that their disease will progress about 30% faster. So intervening early, particularly in that population, is really critical. What's most exciting, and the data that we are presenting here at ESMO, is showing that that we are the first company with a PARP inhibitor combined with an ARPI. So the PARP inhibitor is the niraparib, and the ARPI is the abiraterone acetate. And with that combination, which is a single pill from Johnson Johnson, we're able to not only prevent and delay the disease progression based on radiographic progression-free survival, but also preserve patients' baseline quality of life. So for me, it's really exciting to see that we're able, and keeping in mind those patient outcomes. And I'm equally excited about the data that we are generating now, and hopefully we'll see the results soon in another ARPI that we have, apalutamide, where we're looking at an earlier form of the disease, localized prostate cancer, and the use of apalutamide before and after either radiation therapy or surgery. So really, demonstrating what J&J is all about, which is finding treatments for patients, but also getting in front of cancer and treating the disease as early as we can so that those patients have more time with their loved ones.
Absolutely. This getting in front of cancer, earlier treatment, is very much a theme 2025 at ESMO, having just come from the opening press conference. So thank you for sharing some of data around the prostate cancer space. I want to segue, if you will let me, to the head and neck cancer space now. And I'd like to discuss, or rather have you discuss, the amivantamab new data building on its established role in lung cancer before we go to explore the findings from the first presentation of data in the phase 1b/2 origami-4 study that demonstrates its potential in the treatment of recurrent or metastatic squamous cell head and neck cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, this ESMO marks a very important milestone in our journey about shaping a new era in oncology, right, as we are discussing. So we are now expanding our footprint in EFR-driven diseases. We have results on lung and non-small cell lung cancer patients, but now we are going to present, as you are saying, the first origami-4 data, phase 1b/2 origami-4 study in patients with head and neck cancer. So what we have seen in lung cancer is that through this very innovative mechanism of action, it's a triple mechanism of action, what we're seeing with amivantamab, we are blocking EFR, we are blocking MET, and we are activating the immune system at the same time. And this means that for lung cancer, what we are seeing is that we can show strong and durable responses. We are seeing that we are potentially modifying the biology of the disease, preventing mutations, and improving long-term results, which is super interesting, right? So it makes sense to explore this new mechanism of action, amivantamab, in other EFR-driven diseases, such as, for example, colorectal cancer, something that we are doing, and head and neck cancer, which is a focus of this ESMO this year. And in fact, when it comes to head and neck cancer patients, EFR and MET overexpression occur in between 80 and 90% of the patients. I know you want to add something before going into the details.
Yeah, maybe let me share a little bit about head and neck cancer itself, right? So this is really a really awful form of cancer. The 5-year survival for these patients is only 15%. So only 15% of patients surviving for 5 years. But not only that, and we heard from a patient yesterday,
Yes.
the impact of this disease on quality of life is really terrible. So we're talking about people that are not able to swallow, right? So have difficulties, with one of the most simple things simple and most enjoyable parts of life, which is sitting and having a nice meal, right? We're also talking about patients who may have challenges with speech. So imagine trying to have a conversation with your loved ones. As you can imagine, the mental health of these patients is also quite severe. So it's one of the types of cancer with the highest rates of anxiety, depression, and the highest suicide rates. So really happy to see that for the first time, we have a new potential option for them. And yeah, you can tell a little bit more about what's at ESMO.
It's exciting results. If you want, I can share a little bit more.
Yeah.
Exciting results. So, going into more detail into origami-4 data, we are talking here about head and neck cancer patients that are resistant or metastatic and are progressing after immunotherapy or chemotherapy, right? So, with amivantamab monotherapy, subcutaneous amivantamab monotherapy, we are seeing that amivantamab monotherapy achieved 45% response rate with a median duration of response of 7.4 months, which is very good results. We are showing rapid and durable responses, this time in head and neck cancer patients. And when it comes to median PFS, it was 6.8 months, but while the median overall survival has not been reached, right? So we will see. We have to follow up into the results, but it's a very good efficacy results in terms of rapid and durable responses. And when it comes to safety, no new safety signals have been seen, right? So these results demonstrate that amivantamab has proven anti-tumor activity across different types of solid tumor types, which is something promising. It demonstrates our commitment for showing our innovative approach, our innovation when it comes to science, and a very diverse portfolio.
Absolutely. And it goes towards another theme that's being seen at ESMO this year, which is tumor agnostic or non-organ specific, going across the different types of cancer. Thank you for that. And all this, of course, reinforces Johnson Johnson's mission to get in front of cancer, as we've been discussing, by accelerating targeted approaches with the potential to transform, importantly, patient outcomes across areas of high unmet needs. So, final two questions. Turning to the ESMO Congress as a whole now, what do you think will be the key takeaways? I know we're speaking early on. This is being published after the embargo is lifted on data for those watching and wondering about that. But what do you think the key takeaways will be?
From the Congress, okay, I think we are aligned on that as always, Caroline. That is super exciting, the moment we are living in oncology right now, because we are now understanding the biology of solid tumors in much more detail, which means that we are going to have more options, more opportunities for patients in need, because we are talking here about patients that are facing the most challenging type of cancers. We are talking about lung cancer, head and neck cancer, prostate cancer, bladder cancer, which we have. We are very focused on that as well. Driving a comprehensive portfolio of innovative approaches, completely transformational and innovative approaches for bladder cancer as well. So it's very promising. And it's true that precision medicine is being key as well in this Congress as well. We are moving, precision medicine is moving us away from a one-size-fits-all to a more personalized approach, right? Which means that we can offer to patients treatments that are better tolerated with less toxicities, avoiding treatments that may not be required, for example, which is important from a patient perspective. The goal here is to improve clinical outcomes at its best. Of course, quality of life for patients, while increasing the value for healthcare systems. So this is very, very, very promising, and at the same time, we are committed, right, to keep demonstrating the impact of our science and the our diverse portfolio, let's say. So we are very happy to be here this year, as always.
Yeah, exactly. I think some of the things we've talked about, going back to that theme of precision medicine, precision medicine is what is enabling this tumor agnostic approach. Understanding that EGFR MET is driving the disease, not only in lung cancer, but also in head and neck cancer, as we're seeing at this Congress and as we saw at ASCO in colorectal cancer, right? And seeing that we can then use amivantamab to address those diseases, or seeing, as we have with the amplitude data with niraparib and abiraterone, that, for a patient population with a poorer prognosis, using a PARP inhibitor in addition to an ARPI can result in a better outcome. I think that's some of the most exciting work that we're doing.
Absolutely. Very exciting. Exciting times for oncology, definitely.
Thank you very much. I'm going to leave it at that because I think that said it all. We're looking to the future on the precipice of something quite amazing, quite exciting, as you both say. Thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole.